Hey, what's up, YouTube? I hope all is well with you because things are wonderful with me. Oh, this week has been crazy, crazy. My kids at work have been trying it, getting me on my last nerve. I've just been super busy this week, and I realized that a new episode of RuPaul's Drag Race is going to be premiering tomorrow, and I still haven't done my review for last week's episode. And so I'm going to do it for you guys right now. Yes. But before I get into my review, I wanted to give a shout out to a few special people. First, I want to give a shout out to David Patrick. Um, just because I love his reviews of RuPaul's Drag Race, and I'll put a link down below to his reviews, well, at least his channel. And I love him because, first of all, he talks really fast, and he's so handsome, and he's so sweet, and he's definitely someone I would like to meet someday because he just seems like he'll be a good old time. The next person that I want to shout out is Jamal Washington. Jamar or Jamal? Jamal Washington. And I should know this because I watch him every week too. He also does recaps on RuPaul's Drag Race, and he does a really good job. He it's weird because I feel like he and I like the same things. That's just my opinion. I feel like we're a kindred spirit. So I'm giving you a shout out. I hope all is well with you, friend. Yes. Anyway, moving on. I'm a little jealous of him, by the way. Him and David Patrick, because they both have met drag queens. Because here goes David Patrick hanging out with Ginger Minj, and then Jamar Washington has got Bianca Del Rio in his intros for his videos. Like, what the heck is that? Whatever. I'm not jealous. But shout out to you, sir. Next up, I want to shout out a lovely lady named Aquasarah7. I'm going to put a link down below to her Twitter because she needs a few more followers. She's a really sweet lady, and she always writes so many comments on my recap videos telling me what she thinks, and I think she's a fabulous lady. Very pretty, and very pretty too. So I hope you guys check her out. Hopefully she starts making her own videos since she has so many opinions about RuPaul's Drag Race. I think all three of those, what we have in common is that we all love RuPaul's Drag Race, which makes us really smart people. So shout out to all three of you guys. Now let's go ahead and get on with the recap. For some reason, I have been prolonging doing this recap because it was a really good episode. Don't get me wrong, the episode was awesome, but it was depressing at the same time because so many beliefs I had about the competition were shattered. It was just like, what? Really? Seriously? And goodness, like this season, just in general, has been draining, emotionally draining, because I have yet to attach myself to a contestant. I'm not rooting for anyone really. I feel like the people that are in the competition, like none of them are all the way likable, which I guess could be a good thing because everyone's human, everyone has a good side, everyone has a bad side. And maybe the reason why we are not rooting for anyone is because the producers are showing all sides of everybody in the competition, so it's not as cut and dry. No. I'm not even gonna give the producers that much credit because they're still shady as the whole get up. But I'm not rooting for anybody this season, and I feel like a lot of the queens that are in the competition, just like Big Gal Review said in her review this week, a lot of them are very disrespectful to RuPaul, which frustrates me because he's the head honcho in charge, and you should give all respect to him. I'm just saying. And I feel like some people are just like, well, whatever. I get to be on TV. RuPaul, like, whatever. That's the way I feel. And it's frustrating to see because I know that if I was a drag queen and I was on RuPaul's Drag Race, there was no way in the world I'd be answering back to RuPaul and just dismissing him. Like, I can't. I'm not here for that at all. But let's go ahead and get into the episode. The Snatch Game. So it was really interesting episode. Really interesting. First off, they come into the workroom and they're like, "Oh, um, who was the last? Oh, who? Oh, I forgot who went home last week. Candy Ho had went home. Oh, and Jaden, she had sent her home, so of course she's wiping down the lipstick, saying that she's not gonna lip sync again, but whatever. We hear Kennedy saying she wants to have Max go home. And I'm just, at the time when I heard that, I was like, Kennedy, girl, sit down. Max ain't going anywhere. Boy, was I wrong. But that's what I was thinking in my head. And then we had other people coming for Kennedy saying, Kennedy needs to go home. Her outfits are terrible. And then someone said, I think it was Pearl that said that Kennedy looked like Tony the Tiger on crack. Oh, that was cold-blooded. But then this week they did not have a mini challenge, which is completely fine with me. Like, I do not miss mini challenges, and they went straight into what the episode was going to be, which was the Snatch Game. So everyone's excited because the queens wait for this episode all year long. If you're going to prep for something, you're prepping for Snatch Game, that's for sure. And so everyone's getting ready, and we hear that Violet and Miss Fane both want to do Donatella Versace. And it was just, I think that's like the most random character that both of them wanted to do. I was like, of all people you want to do, both of y'all wanted to do Donatella? Okay, all right. But we hear that. We also hear that Kennedy wants to do Little Richard. And when I heard that, I was like, no, what are you doing? No! Like, no! Because it's boy drag, and in past seasons, when people did boy drag, the judges were not happy with it. And I thought, okay, Kennedy, what are you thinking? Are you serious? But she seemed pretty set on that. Or Sweet Georgia Brown, the ain't nobody got time for that lady. And I was like, maybe that would be fun, but I didn't see her doing Sweet Georgia Brown. I'm glad that she didn't do it, because I felt like that would have been a one note performance. And yes, you can build off it, but eh, eh. Then we hear that Max wanted to do Sharon Needles. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, okay, that's going to be good. Like, she's going to look like her. That's going to be fun. And that's like a good, fun character to play on because, Sharon is such a dynamic drag queen. Then she said she was going to play the Disney version of Sharon Needles. And I was like, no, why? No. But at the same time, I was like, well, she's doing that, but Max is still going to turn it. We hear that Pearl's going to do Big Ange, and I was like, yeah, that's good for you. Yep. Ginger Minj is going to do Adele. I was like, okay, that's fine. And then, who else? We hear that Katya is going to do Suze Orman, and I was excited to see that. I was like, that's going to be fun. That's going to be definitely a good character to play on. But when Miss RuPaul comes into the workroom, he talks to Miss Violet and and Miss Fame. First, like, Miss Fame, she was backing down. She was like, okay, I'm not gonna do Donatella Versace. I'm gonna do the Long Island medium. I was like, okay, all right, cool, good. But then when RuPaul comes in, he's like, oh, so what's more important? The competition, or I can't remember what he said, but basically he said, dude, if you want to do Donatella Versace, you need to do Donatella. And so Miss Fame's like, okay, I'm going to do Donatella Versace. That's what I'm doing. Then he goes over to Miss Fame, and he's like, oh, so does she have anybody else? And she's like, Alyssa Edwards. And when she said that, I was like, I don't see her doing Alyssa Edwards. I was like, I don't know if that's going to be great, but whatever. And then here goes Miss Rue, like, yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Your Alyssa Edwards is good. Yeah, go ahead and do that. I just found it so weird that he was telling Violet not to do Donatella Versace and telling Miss Fame to do it. I feel like there's favoritism there, but at the same time, I don't know. Because, anyway, I'll talk about that a little later. But, oh, another one, Jaden said she was going to do Raven Symone. And I was like, okay, I can see that. I was like, that's a really good character to play on. Then I realized, like, Raven's, crazy activity started after this RuPaul's Drag Race episode had been filmed, so she couldn't. Well, Jaden couldn't play on all the crazy stuff, crazy cuckoo stuff that Raven's been doing lately because that didn't exist yet. But he was gonna more be of Raven on That's So Raven as like the telepathic seeing to the future Raven, and I was like, okay, I guess that would be cool. But when we get to Snatch Game, it was Tamar Braxton and the guy from Ugly Betty. I don't know his name. I'm terrible at names, but but I usually don't like Tamar Braxton, but I really liked her in this episode because she was so zealous to see the drag queens. Partly because her shtick is being a drag queen herself, but that's neither here nor there. You could tell she was really excited and she was really enjoying herself. And I really like to see people appreciate the art of drag. So for this RuPaul's Drag Race episode, I enjoyed her. But we get to the panel and we see that we got Sharon Needles, and Max looked exactly like Sharon Needles. I guess I'm going to go through all the people, how they performed and all that stuff. But she looked exactly like Sharon Needles, on point. And I was like, oh, she looks like her. Oh, she's about to kill this. And then she was like really bad. Like, I was surprised on how clearly she needs to have more improv lessons to learn how to be more quick-witted and, just, and I noticed that she wasn't like that when we saw her meet the Queens video. Like, you can tell she had this fully realized character, but she didn't know how to speak like the character naturally. Like, she was thinking. She was like, oh, let me think about what my character would say. And she did the same thing in Snatch Game. Like, I guess she needs improv lessons. That's what she needs, for sure. Then there was Katya as Suze Orman. She looked like a woman with a short haircut. And she was actually pretty funny as Suze Orman, but I agree with the other judges. Like, she could have been more funny with it. Like, there's more she could have done with Suze Orman. But, I mean, for what it was, she did okay. She did do okay. Okay, the next thing, who was next? I'm gonna say Alyssa Edwards. Well, it wasn't Alyssa Edwards, it was a Violet as Alyssa Edwards. Everything was fantastic. Like, she had the dress, she had the hair, she had the facial expressions. I thought she was really funny as Alyssa Edwards. But the only issue I had was the voice. It was way too deep. It was like she was talking like a dude. And if she had it like, like Alyssa Edwards and a little bit more animated, I think she would have won the challenge for sure. But because she had that deep voice, she got to be safe. So, yeah. Oh, and then who else? It was Jaden. He was up on top, and he was Raven. At first, I thought he was going to be doing a good job because he was doing his little I see something. That was funny. It was really funny, like the first time. And then when he did it the second time, I was like, no, you're done with that. Stop it. But he didn't stop it. He kept on going, unfortunately. And so I didn't think he was as bad as everybody said he was, but I didn't think he did that great either. Yeah. Then when we get to the bottom, we see Pearl as Big Ange. And I have to give it to Pearl. I don't like Pearl, but she did a fantastic job as Big Ange. Like, oh my goodness, like, she got herself tanned up, she had the big old boobs, she had the voice, and the way that she was talking back as Big Ange, she did a fantastic job. It was I gotta give it to her. You did good. You really did good that time. Then who did we have next? We had Little Richard. We had Kennedy as Little Richard. And I gotta tell you, she did that. She did. Because, like, I'm just thinking about it, I'm laughing. Like, the way that she reacted was just, it was just pure comedy gold. Like, she did a fantastic job. And the, and the shut up. And technically, I guess, Little Richard was a good place to start because Little Richard is kind of a queen. He is. And it was just wonderful to see Kennedy outside the box because I can tell you why her doing boy dragged worked for Kennedy and it didn't work for Milk or for Alaska. I feel like Kennedy picked somebody that was technically a queen, you know, he does all the mannerisms and everything of a drag queen, whereas when it came to Milk coming in as RuPaul as a boy, it, on down the runway, you know, this is male RuPaul. Like, you're not acting like, I don't know, you're acting like a dude, essentially. And the same thing with the Barnyard Buddies and Alaska, she's acting like a farm boy, which is like, okay. But with Little Richard, it's basically a man acting like a woman. And this is Kennedy was a man acting like a woman, acting like a man who was acting like a woman. It was genius. I don't think that made sense, but it was still genius. And so I can see why Kennedy got away with it, and the other two people that did boy drag did not get away with it. But I enjoyed that a lot. He did a fantastic job. Wonderful job. Then we had, oh my goodness, Ginger Minj. Ginger Minj as Adele was amazing. You know why it was so amazing? Because when she said she was going to do Adele, I was like, I don't know what she's going to do with that. But because Ginger Minj is so funny, her improv skills are impeccable, she was able to make Adele hilarious just by what she said. Yeah, she had like the food, and actually I feel like she didn't need the food. The cigarette was genius, you know. Like when she was talking about, you know, oh, it's not a match. Oh, it's not a match, but I need a match. And, you know, it was just so funny. And I loved it when she was talking about, like, the song. I can't remember what song she had put on the card, and they were like, it's not a match. And she's like, but I said a song. And then she was all like, well, did I sing it? Oh, then it's not important. Like, it was just the way that she answered all the questions. She was just flawless in it. And honestly, her and Kennedy, they did a flawless job. And I also, if I had it my way, it would have been a three-way tie between Kennedy, Ginger Minj, and Pearl. I felt like Pearl did a fantastic job. And you know I don't like no Pearl. But Pearl did that. I'll give her that. She did a wonderful job. Oh, and then there was Miss Fame as Donatella Versace. Okay. Like she had the makeup and everything down. And but everything else, no. That's all I got. It was like, no. Like, she was funny. She was just there. And I just knew that Fame was going to be in the bottom two. I was like, Fame is going in the bottom two and she's lip syncing against Max. That was my decision. But whatever. Then we get to the runway. And first of all, RuPaul looked sickening in the little 60s inspired outfit. I loved it. And the theme was leather and laced. Leather and lace. And I'm probably not going to go in order, but I am going to talk about all the looks. So, first was Ginger Minj. And I really liked her look because I just love it because she's so short and stocky. And she's wearing her little tights, her lace tights, and that jacket. And she's got the bra with the jewels. And she was in all white. I enjoyed her look because it was definitely something different. And so I was respecting her for thinking outside of the box. Then we had Kennedy Davenport. I like the fact that she decided to take it as like she had a leathery dress. She had like a leather like dress, and like it was cut like lace, and her body looked, it was great. Her body was flawless. You couldn't check anything on the body. The only issue I had was her hair, because she had like, it's like the wig was just flat on top and just mm-mm. But everything else was flawless, and I really liked that dress. Like, Kennedy did that. Um, Next, Violet Chachki. That outfit, girl. Violet just didn't. All her outfits are always so intricate and flawless. And that was a sexy outfit. I have no idea where she put her tuck in that outfit. Like, where did it go? I have no idea. She's so skinny too. And I liked the the thigh, whatever she did. Like, it was just a really nice outfit. The leather or pleather, and then she had the gag in her mouth. Like, ooh, she went there. She went there with her outfit. Very S&M. So I enjoyed that. Then we had Max. I didn't see the lace. Like, I saw leather, but no lace. So I wasn't really impressed. And then she changed her hair. Instead of wearing black hair, instead of wearing gray hair, she wore black hair, which made her look harsh. So I wasn't enjoying that either. And I really wish she just would have stuck with the gray hair, because I think that actually compliments her. But I wasn't impressed with her runway look at all. Like, it was just like, okay, you wore your underwear, but where's your dress? So like I said before, wasn't impressed. Then there was Miss Fame. Miss Fame looked beautiful. She really did. Like, she had this lace like dress, see-through dress, and she had a leather corset over it. It looked really good, and her makeup, as usual, was flawless. She looked wonderful. Then there was Pearl. Pearl, everyone's saying that they loved her outfit. I wasn't a fan, because like I said before, I'm not a big fan of Pearl. Um, she wore pink, which was different. I'll give her that. That was different. Okay. All right. Then there was Jaden. Jaden, I liked the skirt. I really enjoyed the skirt, but the top was not there. And she looked like Shaka Khan. She did, because she had the big old hair and the lips. She just looked like Shaka Khan. That's all I saw when she was walking down the runway. I'm pretty sure she put together that outfit as in she made it herself. And I'll give her an E for effort. It's just the top wasn't working out. It's like, it seemed like a last minute thing. She was like, oh, let me go ahead and put some lace across my boob and that will work. But it didn't work. No ma'am. No ma'am, Pam. Then Katya. Katya. Ooh, she looked good. I didn't see the leather or lace, but she looked good because she had like this swimsuit thing, and then she had a cape and boots, and her signature blonde hair and red lips. She looked good. I enjoyed watching her go down the runway. That's for sure. And who else? Is there anybody else? I think that's all for the runway for sure. Yeah. All in all, I did enjoy the runway. It was a good time. Then we get to Deliberations, and we find out that Violet and Pearl are safe, which I was like, yeah, that's fair. Personally, I would have preferred to have put Pearl in the top 3, but I mean, like I said before, I'm not a fan of her anyway, so I was indifferent. Then we get to the tops and the bottoms. On the bottom is, of course, Max, Jaden, and Miss Fame, because none of them did good at all. Then on the top are Katya, Kennedy, and Ginger Minj, and it is a tie for winner, and it was between Kennedy and Ginger Minj, which, sure, I'll take a tie, because they did good. They both did a fantastic job, so it was probably hard to choose, and it was the first tie in Snatch Game history. So we find out that on the bottom two are not Miss Fame, but Max and Jaden. And I was kind of over it because I really felt that the people that should have been on the bottom were Miss Fame. I don't know why they keep on saving her, because there were so many times that Miss Fame should have been on the bottom, but she always gets a second chance, which frustrates me because I understand that she's one of the popular ones, but if she hasn't earned her safe spot, she shouldn't be safe. Like, she did a terrible job. I guess what saved her was her runway, because she did look beautiful, but her Donatella Versace was terrible. It was terrible. But on the bottom, nevertheless, is Max and Jaden. They lip synced, and I had no idea who was going to go home. I was like, oh my god. Because, like, I thought, okay, Max is probably going to turn out the lip sync, because I felt like she could do things outside of the box. Because, you know, for example, her Iggy Azalea music video that she did, like, I was just like, that's something that you wouldn't expect from Max, and she killed it. So probably she's gonna kill this too, and she was okay. She was okay. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention was during Deliberation, Max, I guess because it was just surprising, because she's never gotten a like bad comment before. Well, she's gotten bad comments, but it hasn't been as the criticism hasn't been as harsh as it was for this judging panel. And all of a sudden, like, she takes off her corset and says, "I'm sorry, I can't breathe," and so she takes a break, which was really weird. And then she starts singing, which was even weirder. And I personally felt she did it because, like, I mean, she was under so much stress because she had never received criticism like that before. That was just my personal opinion. But anyway, I feel like those actions definitely landed her in the bottom two. But when they were doing the lip sync, it was interesting to see that there was no like side comments. Like, usually you get comments from the other queens during the lip sync, and they said nothing, which was really weird. Very weird indeed. But I had no idea who was gonna go home. And then Max went home, which is, it's shocking to me personally, because I felt like Max was a big contender, and I thought that she was going to last a long time because she started off so strong. But no, she she got eliminated, which is crazy. And Jaden got to stay, which I'm happy about, because I love her, Jaden. She's like so sweet, and you can tell that she just wants to be a good drag queen. So I'm glad that she gets another week to prove herself. At the end of the episode, RuPaul informs everybody that she may have made a little mistake, and she wants to bring back a new queen, which I'm like, yes, Trixie, please come back. Because Trixie was done so wrong when she got eliminated. We'll see. They haven't done the Bring Back the Queen in like one or two. How many seasons? 2 seasons. They haven't done it in 2 seasons. They didn't do it in season 5, and they didn't do it in season 6. So I'm kind of sort of glad that they're bringing it back. I'm glad that they're bringing it back a little bit more earlier than the past, because when they did the Bring Back the Queens last time, it was like when it got to top 4, and I feel like it's too late when it's top 4. Now they got the top 7, and they're gonna bring back a queen. I think I'm down with that. That's fine with me. I'm okay with that. But that's the episode. And then I just real quickly, I want to touch on Untucked for just a second. I just want to say that it was crazy to see Max in a different light, calling a drag queen a trash bag. That was shocking to me, because I thought she was the sweet drag queen, but then we come to find out that she has a little bit of an ugly side, and it was kind of sucky to see. But But in all due fairness, I understand that when people are in stress, sometimes the ugly comes out. It's just something that happens. So I still love Max. I'm sad that she's going home, but I'm not as upset as I thought I would be. Like, I really thought I was going to be pissed when Max went home, but when she went home, I was just kind of like, oh, yeah, next week, what's going on? you know? So, another thing that was interesting was I liked seeing Violet interacting with people, like without it being so much tension, because when she was talking to Pearl, they were just kind of having a kiki, having a good old time. And I felt like it was, you can see like the good side of Violet. And I personally really like Violet. And I guess out of all the queens, that's the one that I'm rooting for now. And I'm also rooting for Kennedy because I feel like so many people hate on her so hard. And I don't feel like all the harsh hate is needed. Absolutely not. I mean, yes, she's not like the best in the competition right now, but I think she does a good job. And people always discredit her, but she be doing her thing, and they need to respect Miss Kennedy. Yes, please. And that's it. I am done with this review. Um, I'm just gonna give you guys a heads up. There's a possibility I may not get to do a few reviews for a few weeks. Because I got a lot of stuff that I'm taking care of, and I don't know if I can put these up. We'll see. Hopefully you'll see me. Maybe you won't, but I'm just giving you a heads up right now. If you don't see me for like a week or two or 5, I'm sorry. It's because like there's just a lot of stuff going on in life that I need to take care of. But until then, I hope you guys are doing everything you need to do in order to have a happy, successful, and healthy life. And I'll talk to you later. Bye!